The research process should kind of move along fairly quickly, relatively quickly. Start in Keep. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you've got a label set up for your project. And if you don't, you can come down where it says edit labels here on the side and you can type in a new label. I've already got one, so I don't need to make a new one. So I'm good to go there. Then I just start visiting different websites that have information I might want to use. And I actually read through and look. And as I'm reading and as I'm going along, I want to see if there's anything that leaps out at me. And I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. I'm going to highlight this. And then I come over to Google Keep, get my extension button here. I click the button and it's going to capture the website. It's going to capture the piece of information. I'm going to add my label so that it'll know where to be. And then I create the note. And then I can keep going through. I can see if there's anything else that leaps out at me. If not, I go to my next site and I go through. I see if there's anything that really stands out to me as I'm going along. And then I can just go from page to page. And as I'm looking at stuff, as I find stuff that's interesting or important, I can make sure that I'm grabbing that. That's pretty neat. Go figure. That's kind of interesting. So I do my Google Keep note. And I make sure that I add my label and then I create the note. Right. So as I'm reading along through the page, I'm looking for what stands out to me, what's interesting, what do I need to know? And as I find different stuff, I can just, this is super cool. I can highlight this and then I can go to Google Keep with the extension and I make sure that I label it and I create the note. Right. So that's going to create in Google Keep all these different notes. And the great thing is it's got the link that goes back to the page because I need that. I absolutely need to have that link. Now, this one doesn't have the link. That's a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to have to go back to this page and recapture that or make sure I get the link for it. I'll show you why you need the links a little bit later, but you got to make sure you get them. So I'm just doing my research real fast in Google Keep and pulling together facts that I'm going to use later on. So every so often, once I've got my piece of information from the website and I've used Google Keep to save it, I should come back to Google Keep every so often, make sure that it is actually getting all my notes and making sure that it's actually got the websites attached to these pieces of information. Because when I go to use the information later, I need to know which piece of information came from which source. And we'll talk more about sources and citations and works cited in a little bit, but that's basically how you're going to be doing online research, looking at a lot of different sources, copying and pasting those bits that are useful and making sure you have the website to go with each one of them.